Okay, YouTube, I'm following on a need to correct this video that D13 Watchman created called "The Greatest Mystery of Earth Revealed, Ezekiels Wheels Unveiled." Just want to make a note that 13 is the number of the Illuminati bloodlines. So this guy is, yeah, he's promoting religion and its continual oppressive belief system on man to stay within a little tiny box of beliefs and thoughts and limitations. I just wanted to throw that in there. I don't want to make this video. It's got a lot of stuff. I hope you can see the whole video, because when you see it all, it'll all make sense. But basically, this guy is trying to explain everything from an archaic point of view, from the biblical point of view, which is, let's face it, it's a fairy tale. It's a way to oppress mankind, to keep us from creating our heaven here on earth and realizing our potential. You know, they press us along the lines of free energy. We have constant diseases, cancers, and all this stuff that they're making on purpose. Basically, the progeny of the gods, the ones that commune with the gods, the Jews, are doing all this. I will show you that Ezekiel's wheel within wheel was some sort of time machine which bends space and time with its electromagnetic energy. Torsional energies, of course. Torsional means opposing forces, one electrical and one magnetic. You don't have two electrical forces going at each other, or two magnetics. You got an electrical with its vertical ring, and you have the horizontal with its magnetic ring. Let me run through some of this stuff. Get rid of this one. Okay, here we got the electrical wave. See, it's making a cross wave if you're seeing it from the front view. The electrical field runs a vertical. The magnetic runs horizontal, and they combine together. So here we got it in motion. Then we have another one showing you how it works. One goes this way and the other goes this way. But they're actually like this or like this. So they're kind of trading off there. And here's another view. This is an electromagnetic wave. Electromagnetic, I'm sorry. The Earth propagates an electrical magnetic wave. That's why sometimes there's portals or gates in certain areas. I'm not going to get into that, but here is the original Outer Limits opening dialogue. This is the important part right here. We are controlling transmission. If we wish to make it louder, we will bring up the volume. If we wish to make it softer, we will tune it to a whisper. We control the horizontal, we control the vertical. We can roll an image, make it flutter. We can change the focus to a soft blur or shape it to crystal clarity. Okay. Now remember, Superman, after losing Lois Lane to the earthquake, he's not supposed to meddle in. His father Jor-El tells him he's not supposed to meddle in human affairs to this extent, but he doesn't care. You know, he loves Lois Lane, so what he does is he spins the Earth backwards. So what we're getting here is a little window into what the people who have put us here on this Earth, or came upon us, one or the other. You know, because you have to look at all the planets. Why they're all perfect spheres? Why do they have 173 moons with possibly another 100 to be found? I mean, spheres just don't happen by themselves. Now think about it. The Earth is turning this way. In actuality, there's something inside it going north to south or south to north. That one I don't know. It goes reverses times. reverses time, and Lois Lane is he catches Lois Lane before the earthquake kills her, and he pulls her out. Pulls her out of that situation. Okay. Okay, this is probably not the way. The Earth actually bends light. Let's just say this is the Earth. When you're seeing the sun go down or coming up in the morning, you're actually seeing it past below the horizon, and this could be, this is a sign of electromagnetism. Only thing that can affect light is electromagnetism, just like a black hole affects light and doesn't let it escape. The gravitational spin of the Earth creates electromagnetism, which, like I said, when you're seeing the sun go down, almost at its end or coming up, it's actually below the horizon. And nobody really tells you that because it's one of those factoids nobody ever talks about. The Earth supposedly resonates at 7.83 hertz. Our brains work between 0 and 60 hertz. So basically, yes, humans are perceive the world by this crosswave, the one I was telling you over here. This one. This is also a human brainwave. It could be a human brainwave. 7.83, I think, is alpha. There's delta. There's alpha, gamma, theta. I forgot the other one. There's like 5 basic major brainwaves. Where are we at? Okay, in reality, the Earth is 24,901 miles. If you translate that into frequencies, it's actually 7.49 hertz. In other words, the circumference of the Earth is what makes the length of the peak to valley wave, right? This thing. Peak to valley wave. Now, I don't know why I have that 7.83. Maybe it varies a little. This is it's ELF. It's called extremely low frequency. ULF is another. It's a higher one. Schumann resonance. You see right here, ionosphere. There's a lot of ions in the ionosphere, and that's where electricity comes from. Basically, the sun's photons get turned into ions in the atmosphere. That's how we have electricity, like electrical discharge from clouds. Now, here's another one. Tony arc. We all think that Tony arc's arc reactor is just some sort of magnetic thing to keep the shrapnel from reaching his heart. But in reality, this is plasma, and this plasma can only be contained by an electromagnetic force, like I was saying about the Earth bending light. I'm not going to get into monopoles right now, but it was that scientist guy in the cave that actually gave him that idea, and then he went with it. And also his dad had that in a little map of a city that he had made. Here he is holding it, having it in his chest. Now you say, well, how is it possible for a light beam? This is not electrical magnetism here. Actually, it is. I don't have the exact diagram, but it has monopoles, meaning a single pole magnet inside of it. The problem is that it's unequally distributed because of its shape. If you hit a beam of light here, there's more monopoles on this side than they are on this side, creating like what you would call the bending of light here, which shows white lights, and it's 7 primary colors. Actually, you only need 3, but in the case of the pyramid, there's 7. Okay, and that's due to the unequal distribution of monopoles inside, creating a unbalancement that opens up the white beam. And we all know that white is the presence of all colors. Okay, I think I'm jumping up here. Oh, here it is. A wheel within a wheel. Ezekiel's wheel within a wheel. Well, it just happens to be that, yeah, this is a representation of the astrological zodiac. See, we got here all this and this and that. This is a basic 6, right? This is 8, but there's actually 12. This is a basic, I guess, maybe the directions, like the 4 winds and all that. But then we see it in the, we see this in the St. Peter's Square in the Vatican. Of course, these guys know what's going on. Yeah, they have variants with different amounts of pillars. This is what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. This is the actual zodiac. Each one of these age sections is an age, which it does vary, but they've concluded the average age is 2,160 by, I guess, they get all of them, add them up, and then divide them by 12. And when actuality, there's some that are 1,940, I think. Some are more. But each god has a moment to rule the earth. Just like Jesus' age was Pisces. The Bible talks about ages, the astrological ages 12, the number 12, 212 times, and mentions the zodiac, as it calls it, the Mazarath. I don't really want to get into that. But here is the wheel within the wheel. These are the eyes, supposedly. I don't think this is a perfect rendition because we got spokes going through it. These wheels are supposed to move. One's supposed to go this way. Actually, this is wrong. It should be one this way, the horizontal. These are both verticals. So that representation is wrong. I guess these are wrong too. When Ezekiel supposedly saw this. Let me get rid of this one. Okay, here we got the contacts. Wheels within a wheel. It's a time-dimensional gate with Jodie Foster and Matthew McConaughey. And here we have the 2002 version of the Time Machine, was also, which is a remake from the older version from, I don't think it's the 50s or 60s. Here is Contact again, showing that light. I guess this thing's would have to spin real fast. Here it is again, and here we got the armillary sphere, which kind of represents the Earth and all this, and the universe, and how the energies, the torsional fields create electromagnetism. Got to get rid of that. Okay, I already showed you all of this stuff. So basically, time is like connected to consciousness, and our brains have a temporal lobe. What it is that whoever's running the show would have to blanket us with some sort of wave that covers everything, that covers the whole planet, which is the planet. The planet emits a linear time-inducing perception, like I showed you with Superman. Basically, the Earth is creating time. Anytime you go far out into space and and you're really far out there where there's no planets or stars or electromagnetic waves, you are not going to perceive time. Anytime you're on the planet, the light beams are bent because they are attracted to electromagnetism. Just like a black hole will suck up light. You would think light is intangible, but apparently it is. It has positive and a negative proton. I mean, it's a photon. It's electrical. So it's a what do you call it? A electron. It has a charge. So the opposite, opposite attracts. It would even have to have neutrons to bind protons with electrons. Anyways, black holes are a mystery. They suck up light because they have tremendous power. And that's the only thing that can bend light is electromagnetism. This is where time and space meet. This is where our perceptions meet. Our brains are work perfectly aligned with electromagnetism. Therefore, we are one with this earth. But at the same time, it keeps us within a parameter of perception. And of course, we grow old and die. If you were out in space, I guess you'd still grow old and die. But the problem is that it's all relative. In other words, relative to planetary body. I'm not sure on that if you would stay alive forever in deep space. I imagine there would be some problems because, like I said, supposedly when the astronauts went into space, they had to make a Schumann resonator on board the space shuttle and the Apollo rockets and all those space missions that they had, because they came back and didn't feel good. They need to synchronize with an ELF frequency at the level of the Earth's emission. So let me just tell you right now, Ezekiel saw a time machine, a dimensional gate. We also know that the cube of heaven had 12 pearly gates, and these gates were in fact dimensional gates to each prospective god, to their prospective dimensions. So we also know that Jacob had 12 children representing these 12 gods, and then we also know that there was 12 gates that represented each dimension to these gods. We have to remember that the Bible is in fact a pagan sourced religion with anywhere from 300 to 1,000 religions. Now consider that it was changed into the universal religion, which we commonly refer to now as Catholicism, by Roman Emperor Constantine in 327 AD, because he was having a really time, keeping track of all these religions. He wanted them to be in one place. I believe it also has got something to do with the one world government, which also has to have a one world religion. It has something to do with that too as well. The Roman Emperor Constantine was actually educated in Jerusalem. So basically he was an agent of the Israelites, or the Jews, whatever you want to call them. And I believe to the further extent, like I've said, the God of the Bible, the Hebrew God, only communed with the Jews. And you have to wonder why. He's excommunicating every other race except the Jews. And the Jews are oppressing the whole of the world right as I speak. So, by deduction, you have to make these analyses and you have to come to the conclusion the Hebrew God may very well be like the Nag Hammadi, the Essenes and the Gnostics call the demiurge or an archon, or as the Matrix calls it, the architect, who created all the variant matrices, so that he could keep people slaves to him. And I believe these gods need quantum energy, and that energy is supplied by us. We can create our own food from the sun, the earth, oxygen, and everything else. They have to rely on us. You see, the Vedas said the gods could not make their own food. Therefore, they relied on humans to make their food. See, it is a symbiotic relationship between the gods and humans. Humans are being lied to about, the gods' intentions, that they're good and all this, and they're not. It's a slave to master symbiotic relationship. That's why the God of the Bible calls himself the Lord of Hosts, because he is a parasite. That's what hosts do. They parasite off like those little fish that hang off of those sharks and waiting for little bits and tidbits to eat, or those shrimp that go into the fish's mouth and clean out their teeth and get something from it. We are actually in the same boat with these gods, except these gods are super beyond intelligent in some ways, obviously not in others, but they are far smarter than us, and they are able to think themselves out of any problem in real time. So like I'm saying, you can never not see them as formidable because they are unbelievably smart. They control us with some sort of electromagnetic crosswave. The brain receives these crosswaves, and therefore we see the world as they want us to perceive it. But I do wonder if we have created some sort of a deja vu as of recently, because I had 2 deja vus in the month of November. And now this Mandela effect has come out, which makes me wonder. I do wonder. I think human consciousness, mass human consciousness, can control the outcome at some point, with some degree. Just like we see in the double slit experiment, where light can be either transformed into a wave or into a particle merely by observing it. So humans' observation can affect reality. The problem is we all have to get on board with the same thoughts, the same perceptions to save our world and ourselves. Because if we are diametrically opposed to each other, like the divide and conquer, the Machiavellian precept, the Hegelian dialectic, and all these other things, the false flags from the government, we are being controlled in an effort to have our perceptions altered, when the truth is what I say it is. We all have to get on board with the same life preservation perceptions and save humanity from these evil gods, because our perceptions change the next choices. The next choices are alternate realities. If we go one way, like say we voted for Hillary Clinton, that would have created a whole Pandora's box of different ripples and different timelines. And she would have changed everything as well, because her agenda is to be in wars and destroy the human race. So the reality is, we don't know if Donald Trump is actually not with them, but we can only be afforded the lesser of 2 evils, which we don't know if he's going to do good. He might be taken out of office before he gets in there. He might be taken out. So we have to conclude that all of us have to wake up to these abnormally evil beings and start, controlling our destiny. Anyways, this is a really long video. I'm sorry about that, but I hope you got something from this. I might be publishing this one and then erasing it and making a better one, because I don't know if I did this, that good. But definitely, I'm gonna try to publish it. It's gonna take a long time. Anyways, this is Infonator. Over and out. See you later.